The Thirsty Crow. It was the peak of summer. The scorching sun hung high in the sky, and all the ground below cracked from dryness. All across the village and nearby forests, rivers had dried into dusty paths, and even the lakes had shrunk into muddy puddles. Water was scarce, and the animals struggled each day to find enough to drink. In a tall tree near a quiet field lived a clever little crow. His feathers were shiny black and his eyes were sharp and full of curiosity. He was used to flying far and wide in search of food and water. But on this particular day, the heat was unbearable. His beak was dry and his throat ached for just a single sip of water. He flew over fields, over trees, over empty ponds and dry ditches. His wings felt heavy and the hot air rising from the ground made flying harder with every flap. Still, he did not give up. His thirst pushed him forward. At last, just as he was about to rest on a fence post, he spotted something that made his eyes light up. A small clay pot sitting in the backyard of a cottage, half hidden under the shade of a lemon tree. Excited, the crow swooped down and perched on the edge of the pot. He looked inside eagerly. There was water, but it was very little, just a tiny amount at the bottom. He dipped his beak, but he could not reach it. He tilted the pot, still no use. He even tried pushing it over, but the pot was too heavy. The crow stepped back and thought, many birds might have flown away at this point or given up, but not this crow. He believed that every problem had a solution if you think hard. Suddenly his eyes fell on a pile of small round pebbles nearby. An idea sparked in his clever mind. He quickly picked up a pebble in his beak, flew back to the pot and dropped it in. Plunk! The pebble sank to the bottom. The crow watched carefully. The water level rose just a little. Excited, he picked up another pebble and another and another. One by one, he dropped them into the pot. Plunk, plunk, plunk. Each pebble made the water rise ever so slightly. Other birds watched from the trees, curious. Some even laughed, saying, "Why bother? It's just a drop." But the crow ignored them. He kept going, focused, determined. 10 pebbles, then 20, then 30. Sweat dripped from his feathers. The sun beat down, but the crow did not stop. Finally, after what felt like forever, the water had risen enough that his beak could reach it. He dipped his head and took a long, cool sip. Then another and another. It was the sweetest, most refreshing water he had ever tasted. Not just because it cooled his thirst, but because he had earned it through his cleverness and hard work. Satisfied, he let out a joyful caw, flapped his wings and soared back into the sky, stronger than before. From that day onward, the other birds looked at the crow differently, not just a common bird, but as a symbol of intelligence and persistence. The story of the thirsty crow was told again and again by the birds, by the animals, and even by the children in the village who watched from the windows. Even the elders of the forest said, "If there is a will, there is a way," just like the crow showed us. Moral: where there is a will, there is a way. Intelligence and determination can solve even the toughest problems. Thanks for watching. If you like this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below to let us know your favorite part. Want to hear your own story narrated by us? You can send us your story at mahastoryteller@gmail.com. But don't forget to include your name and address so we can give you credit when we share it. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a magical bedtime tale. See you in the next story. Thanks for watching.